stack them back up, and then start again. Especially, and I find when it gets to around chest height, standard pick and dip becomes a lot better than long spread. So as soon as you've got to either look under your line to check your bricks high enough, or you get into around chest height, I recommend chest, or even around neck height you get a milk crate. I've got a little black beer crate I use, and just shove that on with my foot on the wall and just step up every time I get a trowel full of mortar, and then I pick the brick up at the same time, step up onto the milk crate, mortar on, brick on, and then away we go. I find the speed difference mimics a traditional waist height. The speed difference mimics the traditional, and you're not struggling as much because you're still on a milk crate, so you're not losing that speed that you'd have normally lost when you're reaching up high. Just having that milk crate with you and the pick and dip, because you're doing everything all at once. You're stepping up on the milk crate, picking your brick up and your mortar at the same time, and laying it all in the same motion. So it's effectively like being a foot higher every time, foot and a half higher every time you get above chest height, or up to about neck height. I find it when I start struggling, it's around neck height. I think on about the last 3 course on this, so I had 12 course to do on this to finish it to height, and around the 9th course, around 3 course from the top, I started using the milk crate, and it became a lot easier. Definitely. And I could notice the speed difference, definitely. The speed difference, and just the amount of ease that you can do it with compared to doing like a flat spread reach up traditional method is night and day difference, because you're not putting that joint on your brick and then lifting your brick up. That's the difference. It does take some getting used to if you're like me and like to do traditional by just doing like a 1 scrape on your traditional joint, 1 scrape traditional joint. You've got to get it through your head that you're going to be probably 2 scraping a lot of your bricks pick and dip, but you're cutting out all those extra movements. You can get good and probably 1 scrape it eventually, but you're going to be doing about a minimum 2 scrapes on a pick and dip, but you're just cutting out all the other movements, which makes it a lot easier. When it comes to mortar boards, you'll see in one of these clips my camera drops a little bit, and you'll see my boards. I've got my boards stacked on 18 bricks, so 6 high stacked flat, so 6 bricks, a brick clamp turned on end, so stacked up times 3. So the downside of this, it does require having more bricks loaded, but I find if you get to the last course, you can just chuck your boards on the floor and use your bricks. Or the last couple of courses, you can just chuck your boards on the floor and do either a long spread pick and dip, or if the bricks are like these bricks were, a lot of them got chipped because of the type of brick they were. The face got chipped off, so I ended up using those, stacking those back on the pallet. I ended up just picking out all the chipped ones as we were loading them out, and then only ones I chucked on the floor that were no good, we picked all those up and moved them over to the next area. So it was about 50 or 60 bricks. Move them over to the next area to use those as ligger stands for the next bit of work, because we had a boundary wall right next to us that we were going on to. But it does take a little bit extra loading. Obviously, you're taking 12 bricks at once with 2 brick clamps. It's an extra few trips, but it saves you having to carry around spot board stands, like those, like your little tables, or carrying around like either manhole rings, something like that. You're just always using the same bit of gear. And also, if you're building, like an 8 brick pillar, 2 brick by 2 brick, you can always get those chipped bricks and put a little stack next to your main stack of bricks, and when you get to the middle of the pillar where the bricks aren't seen, you just plop 2 of your rough ones in with all chipped faces, and you're using all your bricks you're loading out. Then that's the main thing, and is not to load out too many. Make sure you count up as many, just the right amount of bricks, maybe an extra few spare ones in case a few break, and then you're using every brick then. So the less bricks you've got to tidy up, the more time you've got laying actual bricks. So when it comes to the pick and dip on a garage, does it fill the back of the joint effectively? I asked my dad today, and he said, yeah, it feels it just as good as a traditional. And a lot of the time, because you do actually drop more mortar on the floor, you want to be jointing up every like 6 course or so. Just jointing the face up, and then going round and just scraping your mortar from the back of the garage and flicking it over the wall onto the floor. And you'll find you don't get that build up around your first course in your garage that looks all stained and smudged. You just, every 6 course, flick your gobble off, save a little bit for jointing where it hasn't filled any gaps, and then just flick it over. And then when you get to the end of the day, you've got, 5 minutes scraping your trowel on the floor, or not even 5, 2 or 3 minutes scraping your trowel on the floor, flicking a few snots over the wall, and that's it. No big scraping up at the end of the day. This especially helps in winter when you get the slop effect on the wet concrete floor. I'd even recommend every three course just scraping up the snot, the slop off the floor, straight over the wall, and just saves you a lot of hassle. You get to the end of the day, you've got like 15-20 minutes of jointing on your hands maybe, if you take your time like I do, and then you pack up, clean boards, clean everything, and then start again in the morning. You haven't got a big cleaning up session like a lot of gangs you see do. Finish the work off at the end of the day, leave all the cleaning right to the end, and they've got an hour's work ahead of them. You get to 3:30, they say, oh, we're packing up now, we've got an hour's work ahead of us. You don't get into the car till 4:30. So that's a big thing as well, especially if you're working in a one-on-one, clean up as you go. I know for 2-on-1 gangs it might not always work, because you've got to earn a lot, you've got to get a lot done to pay 2 of you and the labourers. But especially if you're working in a one-on-one and your labourer is busy jointing, like as you can see my dad here, he's jointing up, obviously saving me a lot of time in jointing. Just like after I finished this garage off, I shifted all the chip bricks onto the next area we were working, cleaned the boards off while he was jointing, and then I scraped all the mortar off the floor while he was jointing. Then I went back and jointed my face side, and by the time I'd done that, he'd almost jointed all of the back I'd laid. So so by that time I could just crack on straight with the pillars as he was jointing the block pillars, and all that time I was doing a little bit of labouring and a little bit of helping out, but it all pays off to where you're always doing something that's affecting the build. So anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching today. There's a few more tips for you. I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll be making a YouTube channel pretty soon, probably re-uploading these videos for try to get out to a bit of a wider audience. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow on the boundary wall.